word majestic comes to mind when you see the splendor of this Easter Saturday in the Pacific Northwest, and the same word could be used to describe the play of Portland Timbers 2 here early in the USL Championship season. Off to the best start in club history with 4 wins in 6 matches, T2 welcomed Colorado Springs Switchbacks to Portland, looking for their first ever home win over their visitors from the Centennial State. And with that, we welcome you into the broadcast booth here at Merlo Field on the campus of the University of Portland. A longtime former U.S. Women's National Team player and current Thorns Academy Development Director, Laura Schott. I'm Fletcher Johnson. Laura, T2, as mentioned, off to the best start in club history and looking to continue their momentum here tonight.
What a streak it's been so far. T2 has been on quite the roll to begin the year with a great result at home in the last game, looking to build on that momentum and get another great result today.
Meanwhile, for Colorado Springs, a side that scored 4 goals in an impressive win over Los Dos in the season opener, just 3 goals in their last 5 matches, looking to rediscover a little bit of rhythm themselves.
They're scoreless in the last 180 minutes of play, so today they're going to look to get that momentum back, get a goal, and start to build on that. As
you might imagine, with the 2 numbers we gave you there as we look at the USL standings, one team pretty good here early in the year, one team struggling a little bit. Portland Timbers 2, as mentioned, on top of the Western Conference, tied with New Mexico United. Both teams will play at the same time tonight. Meanwhile, Colorado Springs Switchbacks, as you see, down in 13th place. Again, here very, very early in the season, but Colorado Springs trying to avoid 3 straight years missing the playoffs in USL. Let's go ahead and take a look at our players to watch here this evening. We'll start off with T2, and it's Renzo Zambrano. He leads USL in passes, and he will be key defensively to make sure Colorado Springs can't find that rhythm.
Zambrano is an anchor for T2. He's a great midfielder. He can hold the ball, he can pass the ball. He's one of the best passers in the USL. So Timbers will look for him to not only stop the Colorado Springs attack, but also build the attack for T2.
Meanwhile, for the Switchbacks, Shane Malcolm is one of the most veteran players on this side. He already has 3 goals this year, and he'll be asked to do a lot in the attack.
That's right. He already has half of his goal total from 2018. So with 3 goals, he's going to be a target for Colorado Springs and looking to find the goal after 180 scoreless minutes.
We've mentioned that Colorado Springs has dominated the series here in Portland. They've dominated the series overall, though. Portland with just 1 win in 9 all-time tries against Colorado Springs. They'll go for number 2 tonight, and their first victory over the Switchback side at home will get you starting lineups and the opening kickoff on a sun-splashed Merlo Field. Coming up next. And we're back at Merlo Field on the campus of the University of Portland. Just about time for kickoff between Portland Timbers 2 and Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com. Fletcher Johnson, Laura Schott here with you. Let's go ahead, take a look at the starting lineups, and we will start off with the visiting Colorado Springs Switchbacks. They will be in a 4-3-3 for this their 7th match of the season, just one change from a week ago. Abraham Rodriguez gets the starting goal. 16 years old, Matt Hundley, the 18-year-old, starts up top.
Rodriguez back in goal. He's had 4 starts in the last 4 games, and he's been, the last couple games they've had 180 minutes of scoreless play, and he's been scored on a few times here, so he's looking to get momentum back in goal and looking to get a shutout.
Meanwhile, for Portland Timbers 2, 3 changes from the 1-0 win over Sacramento last week. Along the right side, Nathan Smith starts at right back. First ever start for Christian Ojeda there at the right midfield position.
Today it'll be interesting to see that right side of the field, the new combination for T2, and how those 2 players, Ojeda and Smith, work together.
All right, so we are just waiting for the whistle from our head referee for the day, Mike Allerton. He's assisted by Seth Martin on the near side, Andrew Marhart on the far side of the field, and the 4th official today is Chad Stewart. T2 in the all-green kits, Colorado Springs in the white kits with the black stripes on them. Whistle blows, and we are underway from Merlot Field. About 65 degrees here this evening, and temperature will stay in the 60s throughout the course of this one, as Portland Timbers 2 looks for their 5th win in the last 7 matches. Off to a great start here so far this year. Meanwhile, Colorado Springs 2-3-1 on 7 points to this point in the season. As we mentioned, they have yet to score a goal in their last 2+ matches now, as Jome takes down Ojeda, and Ojeda grabbing at that leg. Not a good challenge for Ojeda here early in his first ever start with T2.
It's nice in the first minute. You get Ojeda and Smith connecting a couple passes there, but then in the first minute as well, we have Ojeda go down on a hard foul.
So it'll be a restart for T2 in the attacking half. Williamson standing over it. He'll be the man to send it into the shadows on the north end of Merlot Field.
That shadowing on the north end of the field is a little difficult optically, especially if you're a defender for the switchbacks, looking into the sun and then going from the shade to the sun there. That transition can be difficult, because if you're trying to go into the shade, you have an idea of how the ball's going to fly, what it's going to look like. The flight of the ball is reading one way, and then you step into the sun and it's a little bit different. See if that plays any role here in the game.
Certainly could, as Ojeda sends the cross in. Knocked away and then cleared away by Jack. Sent back in, but easily collected by Rodriguez, the 16-year-old. Colorado Springs certainly, I'm sure, having no issues with the sunshine, whether they're shadows or not, considering that last weekend they played against Reno 1868. Match was delayed for a couple hours because of a massive snowstorm that hit Colorado Springs. So I'm sure they're enjoying the 65-degree sunny weather here in Portland in late April.
It's a very different scenario for the switchbacks today from last week. You mentioned the delay because of snow, and today it's a beautiful sunny day in Portland. See if that plays a role in this game as well, switching from freezing temperatures and a lot of snow and having to wait to clear a field to a beautiful sunny day, and ball's going to play exactly how it should.
Well, frankly, I mean, Steve Trichu, the manager for Colorado Springs, he's in his 4th season there, said that the weather and the delay definitely affected his team against Reno. Professional players are creatures of habit, and it was hard for them not knowing when the game would start. As this their first real attack forward, Malcolm sends it in towards the penalty spot, and no one there. Zambrano able to dribble forward. His pass forward, though, intercepted by Schweitzer, a 25-year-old, just turned 25 yesterday, Washington native. Williamson does well to keep possession in front of Argueta. Now Ojeda's touch is a bit loose, under pressure from Jome, and Hundley takes it away. Laura, we heard Aiden Brown, goalkeeping coach for T2, mention midweek that he's very pleased that T2 were able to earn 3 points last weekend against Sacramento in those difficult conditions that they faced with the pouring rain and heavy wind. They got the penalty kick goal in the first half and then were able to maintain that lead through the second 45 minutes. It's a game in which they probably would not have fared as well last year. They gave up a lot of leads in the second half last year at home. So to be able to maintain that has to be good things and good vibes for this team as they continue on what has been the aforementioned best start in club history.
Well, there's no doubt that T2 has had a fantastic start of the year. And to finally get that shutout is great for the defensive end. Been getting results, they've been scoring goals. But you always want to get that shutout. You want to get that momentum from the defensive end. You want to get that momentum as a goalkeeper and in your back line, just to have that confidence that, yeah, we can shut a team down, we can shut them out, and we can get 1-0 victories.
Bit of back and forth action, neither team seemingly having found a rhythm as of yet. Cameron Knowles very upset. That was an intentional back pass from Jack to Rodriguez. Rodriguez went down to collect it with his hands, but Mike Allison did not end up blowing his whistle. Not sure why. Maybe it's because he wasn't actually able to corral the ball. But Cameron Knowles certainly wants an explanation, as here comes Brian Hurtado. Hurtado with space in front of him, plays it out wide to Williamson. Numbers coming forward for T2 as Williamson approaches the edge of the box. Ends up playing it back to Farfan. Farfan keeps possession. Now to Zambrano. Tried to play Farfan through, but cut out. So let's take a look at what happened just a moment ago, Laura.
The ball comes back. Left back plays back to Rodriguez. Obviously touches that ball with his arm. If I was Coach Knowles, I would appeal for an explanation as well.
So, and I think that's one of those things that people out there watching may not be 100% sure on, is if the ball hits his arm, that is indeed, you know, a situation where it would be a indirect free kick at that point, right? Because it was an intentional back pass from Jack.
At that point, T2 could go set the ball, and as long as they play the ball to another T2 player or it makes contact with another player on the field, it would stand as a goal if they get the shot off and it's on frame. So in those situations, those are great opportunities to score goals. So it makes sense that Coach Knowles would be appealing that.
Offside flag was up there on Jordan Burt, the longest tenured member of this Colorado Springs side. Tell you a little bit more about Burt here in a moment, as Argueta controls but has a heavy touch, and now Williamson attacks the other way. He's got Ojeda to his right. We'll play him. Ojeda, the youngster, just 20 years old. On loan from Argentinian club Athletic Talares. Now back out to Zambrano. 8th minute. In case you're just joining us, beautiful afternoon turning into an evening here in Portland, Oregon. Fletcher Johnson and Laura Schott here with you as the long switch finds Ojeda, does well to control it with his first touch. Another prep touch, sends a cross in, back post, and cut back all the way across by Foster Langsdorff. Rodriguez was worried, and it looks like it was a golden opportunity for Langsdorff to find the back of the net.
That was a fantastic opportunity for Langsdorff, and a great ball by Ojeda from the right side. Swings that ball in, and Langsdorff's going to want that one back.
Great moment there from Ojeda, the youngster, in his first start. This time Joam with the cross in, goes all the way through and finds Yarrow at the back. He sends it all the way back through for Joam. Joam tries to chip up over the top of Smith directly to Leaker. As we quickly come the other direction, here's Hurtado. Hurtado just going highway one right down the center. Langsdorff was making a run central, and Hurtado thought he was still on the outside. It's a dangerous moment on the counterattack. T2 already with 2 fast break goals here in 2019.
That was a great breaking run by Hurtado down the center of the field, and Langsdorff comes in, and just a slight miscommunication. Another great opportunity for T2.
Comes Hunley 1v1 versus Smith. Send a first-time cross in, no one making the run. Here's Ojeda.
Ojeda on the ball, he cuts it back to his left. Ball sent across. Langsdorff makes contact with the ball, but jostled around and sent wide of frame.
So T2 with some good moments here early on in the match. We mentioned this is a club that's scored multiple goals in 4 of 6 matches so far this year, and held their first clean sheet last weekend against Sacramento Republic FC. Here's Nathan Smith now. Ball on the ground. Finds Ojeda, turns, shoots with a left foot, and just wide.
Seems to be a positive side for T2 that Ojeda and Smith are connecting early. This ball sent across from Smith to Ojeda, and he strikes with the inside of his foot, just missing that far post. But those two being a new combination on that right side, connecting early a couple times. It's important because it gives you a little confidence.
And if you're Cameron Knowles, you got to feel good about what you've seen out of those guys early, giving them the opportunity. As we mentioned, Ojeda making his first start, Nathan Smith, it's just his second start of the season. So both players taking advantage of their opportunities, at least here early, although you certainly would like to have already seen a goal if you're T2, given the ball that Ojeda sent in the 8th minute.
Yes, for the coaching staff, knowing that you made that change and not knowing how the game's going to start, if they're going to connect, how the flow's going to go, it's got to be a confidence boost, not only for the players, but for the coaching staff and the players to know that they can put them on and they're performing right away in the first 10 minutes of the match.
Ball played back to Rodriguez. T2 with the high press, trying to win it back. Over to Jadama, Mo Jadama, the goal scorer from a week ago from the penalty spot. 25-year-old, signed with the MLS Timbers in 2018. Playing for Cameron Knowles in his second season as manager of this T2 side, 21-14-4 in his short managerial career with T2, assisted by Andrew Greger and goalkeeping coach Aiden Brown. I think even they would refer to themselves as the odd trio just in terms of personality, but they get along really well and they complement each other very well in what they add to this team. Of course, Andrew Greger was the coach before Cameron Knowles, as Jones Cross is knocked out for the first corner kick of the evening by Arturo Dizpe for Colorado Springs. A correction, that is just a throw-in. And Joan will be the man to come over and take it. Familiar name to supporters of the Timbers organization. Played for the Timbers U23s in 2015. During college did Joe, made 4 appearances. Native of the Gambia, 24 years old now, in his first season with Colorado Springs as a T2 player down in the box, and that is Todd Wharton. Haven't called his name much. He's up though, and we're back underway here in the 13th minute. Into Hunley, sends a dangerous ball across the penalty spot. First time strike from Yarrow is well high.
It's a dangerous pass from Hunley there, across the box to the top. And
so we take another look.
he sends this ball just to the top of the D, and Switchbacks had a good run up at it there, but sent it just over the crossbar.
Foul called there on Colorado Springs as Zambrano goes down. Zambrano, long switch over to the far side of Hurtado. 2 defenders come over against Hurtado. His cross blocked first time, picks it back up, tries to dribble his way through, not going to work as Yarrow ends up getting it back and ends up eventually in a goal kick. Well, Jordan Burt the longest tenured member of Colorado Springs in his 5th season. He has been a stalwart for this side. 10,000 minutes played now that we are through 13 minutes here today. So just shows you the value that he has had to this club. And you could say he's been a T2 killer as well. He's very much enjoyed his soccer against Portland. Had a pair of goals last year and a 4-1 win here at Merlo Field back in June. So congratulations to Jordan Burt on a long career with this Colorado Springs Switchback side. 10,000 minutes is nothing to sneeze at, and he's been an important part of the past and prior success of Colorado Springs. Long switch over to Ojeda, tries to control with the left foot, cannot do so. Joan forced to play out to touch though.
Just back to Burt for a moment, how difficult it is to get to 10,000 minutes with a club, just to stay healthy and to be in the lineup and to accumulate that number of minutes. You've really got to put a lot of work in, not only to keep your game at a high level, but also to stay healthy and keep competing.
Especially in a league where there does tend to be a lot of player movement as well. Jordan Burt's been able to stay with the same club for 5 years. There's really only about 3 players, maybe 4 on this Colorado Springs roster that have been with this club before the beginning of the season, let alone 5 seasons, as the shot there from Hunley is easy stuff for Jake Leaker. But we see the shot from Colorado Springs, and it illustrates a point that despite the rough start for the Switchbacks is something that has to be concerning, or at least the T2 is aware of, and that's Colorado Springs is tied for 4th in USL with 91 shots this year. The conversion rate obviously hasn't been there, but they've created opportunities, given themselves chances to score goals, just haven't quite found that final piece yet, Laura. And certainly Cameron Knowles and T2 hoping that they can make sure that they go another 90 minutes without finding that rhythm.
It's a particularly interesting statistic for them because they started out the season on fire scoring and have tapered down as of late and going scoreless in their last couple games. So they're going to be looking to get back on track and put one away in this game and get back on the score sheet.
Ojeda to Williamson. Williamson able to squeeze it through Jack and Jome, but Langsdorff was making a run towards the back post, not the near post. And Switchbacks attack the other direction. Lots of space for Malcolm. He'll play it out wide to Yarrow. Yarrow back to Malcolm inside the box. Fouled by Zambrano, and a penalty kick is awarded. Zambrano came in from behind Malcolm, and Mike Allaton blew his whistle. And here in the 17th, crossing into the 18th minute, Colorado Springs will have a chance to take an early lead.
Well, as you mentioned, you see Malcolm coming forward and gives the ball to Yarrow, and a little bit uncharacteristic for Zambrano. We talked about before the game how he's going to be one of the key players on defense. Didn't anticipate the impact being on a penalty kick early, but Zambrano's such an important part of this defensive squad for T2, and he does such a good job. It's difficult when you're in that recovery position coming back and trying to win the ball.
Jordan Burt will be the man to strike the penalty kick. He has 2 goals already this year, looking for a third. Jake Leaker dives to his left. Burt went to Leaker's right. And Colorado Springs are out in front in the 18th minute.
And Burt just does a great job to put this one away. He plays it to the keeper's right, and it's a well-taken PK.
So the interesting note about the game last June that ended up in a 4-1 win for Colorado Springs is it was T2 that got the first goal in that one, only to see Colorado Springs answer back with 4. So given that this is the first time these 2 teams have played since then, will the script reverse itself? We'll have to wait and see, but Colorado Springs with the lead now in the 19th minute. And Laura, I mean, with the way T2 has played so far, you don't feel bad, but in that one moment, Zambrano fouled Malcolm in really not that dangerous of a position, and it cost his team a goal.
Yeah, and you wonder, coming back into the lineup, working again with Wharton and that ball being played through, if he maybe was a little bit out of position of what he's used to in relation to Wharton and the rest of the team in that moment, and was just working really hard to get back, and then obviously caused a PK, caused a foul.
T2 is the first time this year they've conceded first at home. And here comes Burt again as he gets in front of Dispay, will shoot, and wide of that left post to Jake Leaker. Looked like Leaker might have got a finger on it. Mike Allerton says no, and in the end it ends up a goal kick, but nearly 2 goals in 2 minutes for Jordan Burt.
And Jordan Burt comes through on the left side, strikes the ball with his left foot, and don't believe Leaker got a hand to it, but he just yanks that one a little bit wide of goal. A little bit uncharacteristic of Dispay to play that ball off his head to the attacker. Very dangerous area.
T2 were 1-0-1 when allowing the first goal. He came back and beat Oklahoma City a couple weeks ago. And then in the season opener against Tulsa gave up the first goal and came back to earn a draw. So not a position that T2 is necessarily unfamiliar with. As Rodriguez finally picks it up in front of Langsdorff. Just a sliver of the field left in the sunshine. Jack gets in front of Langsdorff. Argueta pressured by Williamson. It's interesting, Laura, you think about the struggles that Portland has had against Colorado Springs across multiple seasons. From your playing days, is there anything that plays in mentally to struggles against a particular team when you've had results regardless of who the players were on the field or even if they're still a part of the club, that for some reason that team just seems to have your number? As hold that thought, Malcolm shoots, blocked by Leaker, and Nathan Smith there with the emergency clearance. Not out of danger yet though, as Yarrow has it in front of Hurtado. Out of Malcolm, back to Yarrow, first time cross, blocked and out for a corner kick. And we'll, as we await the corner kick, fans, follow Portland Timbers 2 and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. This will be Jome to strike, left-footed in-swinger from the far corner flag. Sends it in. Leaker with an important punch with his right hand. And Dispay able to get it up to Hurtado, who does well to hold it up, release some pressure. Tries for the long ball forward. Ojeda wasn't quite making enough of a run, and Rodriguez clears all the way back across midfield. So the action is picked up here in the last few minutes as we take another look at the corner kick, and Leaker in that big right paw up there. Get that one away. Leaker 6'6", so using all of that frame, and here's Burt. Wow, what a challenge by Dispay to win that one away cleanly, nearly inside his own 6-yard box.
Seen Burt early in this half do a very good job of finding seams.
And dangerous there as Malcolm was through. Leaker off his line to make a deflection. And Colorado Springs asking some serious questions of T2 here under a half hour in. You know, it's really interesting, Laura, as we talk about this Colorado Springs team, there was a lot of talk about how they like playing on this, what Steve Trichu referred to as the best surface in USL. And they certainly seem to be enjoying it, especially after they got that PK goal.
You know, back to what you mentioned earlier, they've had success here, and it is an interesting matchup given T2 has had some difficulty in Portland against the Switchbacks, but in this particular moment, the Switchbacks have had some difficulty in the last couple games getting results, whereas T2 has been on a bit of a streak and they're 4-4-1 or 4-1-1, excuse me. So that plays into it too. T2 has some momentum. They've been winning some games. Now they have a bit of a streak at home. They have some games at home now, so that always, you know, gives you some confidence. But trick is you don't want to be overconfident, right? You don't want to come into a game and feel, oh, we're at home now, we've been playing well, and then underestimate a team that hasn't been scoring goals in the last few games.
That PK goal for Colorado Springs, their first in the last 3 matches now. First time they've held the lead in a long time early in this USL Championship season. Jack stands over it. T2 were full of life in the first 10 minutes. Arguably should have had the opener as Ojeda put in a cross that found Foster Langsdorff at the back post, but he couldn't steer it on frame, actually put it all the way back across the box, which arguably might have been more impressive given the angle to not put it in the back of the net. Hunley to Schweitzer. Pressured by Dizpay. Blocked away and out for the second corner kick of the night. Quickly taken by Colorado Springs to Hunley. Dizpay plays it out for another corner kick.
Important play there. Although it looked simple by Dizpay, it's so important to cut the momentum there, because if you allow that momentum to go, I mean, they restarted the corner so quickly that if the team isn't set, T2 isn't set, that can become a very dangerous play very quickly.
Hunley to take. In towards a penalty spot. Leaker once again with his right hand blocks it away, and then Zambrano plays it out off of Jome to touch.
Leaker now on back-to-back corners getting a hand, and not only getting a hand to, but punching those balls out of danger. So important for a goalkeeper to clear those balls, not only to clear them, but to clear them out of danger and get the ball out of bounds or get behind the opponent so that you have a little bit of time to breathe in those moments. If you don't and the ball stays in danger, it tends to become more and more difficult to defend. The pressure mounts, send numbers forward, it gives them time to sit in your box, near goal. When those things happen, it can cause trouble for the team, and it's not for T2 right now because Leaker's doing such a good job of getting his hand to those balls.
Eden Brown very highly speaks of Jake Leaker and the potential that Leaker has as he watches that one fly over his crossbar. Just obviously his frame being 6'6", he's 23 years old. A lot of potential this Timbers organization believes Jake Leaker has in his future. Being so young, played his college ball at Memphis, 47 appearances, had 10 clean sheets while there. But is really kind of a late bloomer, so to speak, as T2 earned the foul in the attacking half.
You almost wonder if it's by design that the Switchbacks continue to foul T2 in that middle third as they start to build. T2's created some momentum in the last couple games going forward, and as they go forward, they've done very well, been very successful in transition. So perhaps they're looking to cut that momentum to slow the T2 transition.
That's the thing, we've seen T2 be able to play pretty freely, not necessarily playing overly physical matches, although the second half against Sacramento was a very physical half. So they have played against it a little bit, but how will T2 adjust and adapt here this evening? Some sustained play in the attacking half for T2 as Williamson carries it into the box. Central and saved by Rodriguez. I believe it was Rodriguez that got an arm to it. It was Langsdorff or Hurtado that hit it. What a save by Rodriguez.
An outstanding save. Williamson across the box to Langsdorff. And then Rodriguez with the reaction save just to get something to it. Outstanding job by Rodriguez.
During the replay, Portland quickly played the cross in from the corner. Williamson hit it and overcooked it. Left-footed in-swinger went all the way by that far post and out before anyone could get a touch to it. Abraham Rodriguez tied for 5th in USL in saves coming in. Picks up another big one there. Just 16 years old, the Rapids Academy player, starting his 4th consecutive match Given that he's such a youngster, not a surprise that in his first 3 he's given up 2 goals each time, but comes up with a massive confidence-building save there. Leaker, meanwhile, gives it away to Schweitzer. T2 with a couple golden opportunities in the first half hour, but have not been able to find it. And Burt once again in there and earns his team a corner. Some emergency defending there from T2 to make sure that the lead didn't double. That was Farfan.
This is Jome again to Burt. Burt finding another seam in the T2 defense. Coming free in the middle of the field and getting a foot to that ball.
Cross in, headed on by Langsdorff, will be chased down by Dispay. I think that Rodriguez save will be up for USL Save of the Week.
I don't know how it wouldn't be. That was an outstanding save.
Point blank distance inside the 6-yard box and was still able to get something on it and turn it away. What a play by the 16-year-old. Here comes Hurtado central. Make that Langsdorff. Now out to Hurtado. And loses out, just plays it out to touch for a Colorado Springs throw. So the Switchbacks have recovered well in different moments to deny T2 opportunities on the counter. As we are a half hour in here at Merlot Field, in case you're just joining us, Fletcher Johnson and Laura Schott here with you. As Colorado Springs has the early 1-0 lead, thanks to a penalty kick goal from Jordan Burt in the 18th minute. Looking for their 6th win in 10 tries against Portland all time. T2's had a couple golden opportunities to get on the score sheet. As Jome controls and plays out to Hunley. So a half hour in, Laura, what are your thoughts on the play of T2? It seems like it's been good, just maybe one moment that didn't go their way.
T2's done a lot of really positive things here in the first 30. Gotten connection between the right side of the field with Ojeda and Smith. Williamson's kind of come alive here in the last few minutes. It's usually good things happen for T2 when Williamson's on the ball and he breaks through midfield, but then on the flip side, Switchbacks have done a good job of slowing play in the middle of the field, in the middle third when T2 has started to break. You saw that with Hurtado, you've seen it with Williamson, you see them even foul to slow play, and they do that to slow it down. They just want to break it up, right? They don't want T2 to gain momentum and get those fast wingers in to send crosses into Langsdorff. Positive things have happened when T2 has broken down the wing and created those crossing moments. We saw that near miss by Langsdorff and that great ball. So really, I think the key for the Switchbacks is to continue to break that momentum to carry them through this half, and T2 has to find a way to counter that.
It seems as though Switchbacks are pretty comfortable here on the field, especially in the attacking half. Kind of knowing what T2's bringing at them and being able to adjust and adapt and get players in open space to create opportunities. Not to say that T2 hasn't felt the same way at times in their attacking half, but there's been some great balls like that, although that time Hundley is offside, and have found Colorado Springs players in dangerous positions. Well, even though it is still just April, we get to scoreboard watch a little bit. T2 and New Mexico United came into the night both on 13 points. T2 trailing here, New Mexico United trailing as well, down 1-0 to Reno 1868. Around a half hour in. New Mexico United, the lone team in the Western Conference that still is undefeated. Three wins, no losses, and 4 draws for New Mexico. As Rodriguez will take his time with this restart in the 34th minute. Gets the whistle from Mike Alladin to send this ball back into play. Be sure to tune in on Wednesday, April 30th at 4 p.m. for the ESPN USL Championship Game of the Week on ESPN3, featuring new expansion side Memphis 901 FC visiting the two-time defending USL Cup champions Louisville City FC. It's the week's best matchup on the Game of the Week, April 30th at 4 p.m. on ESPN3. Ojeda's shot well high. Had it curving, but left foot sent it nearly over the netting that blocks off the roadway behind the goal on the north end.
Mentioned Williamson a moment ago. As he breaks through that middle third, he's such a good playmaker. When he can get around that defender and cut them off or play make as he did there out to Ojeda, it really ignites the T2 attack.
Schweitzer again plays out to Hunley, corner of the 18. He's got Burt top of the box, defended by Smith. Deflected cross, blocked away by Wharton, and Zambrano tries to get there in front of Malcolm, beats him, but Argueta is there, taken away by Wharton. Ojeda the long switch over to Farfan. Farfan acres the space in front of him. Takes a couple big dribbles forward before Burt comes over to defend. Zambrano's first time touch directly in between Jadama and Farfan, and they have to track back to collect. Entire field now in the shade. Up here in the broadcast booth, still staring into the sun, but that should go away here in a couple minutes. We'll certainly be in the shade by the time the second half rolls around, as T2 search for an equalizer. Through ball from Dizpay, breaks a couple of lines, finds Langsdorf. He's defended by Jome. Tries to work his way around Jome, still with it, down near the corner flag. As well to get a cross in. Does it end up in a corner kick? Nope. They say that Hurtado was the last touch.
Langsdorf does a good job to shake the defender just enough to get this cross off as it comes across there. And hard to tell from our angle who it went off of, but goes to Switchbacks goal kick.
T2 has gotten contributions from many different places throughout the course of this season, despite only having played 6 games. As a foul is called, looks like on Langsdorf or Smith there, taking out Hunley. And Cameron Knowles having issues with the way this game is called to this point. Sam Rabin, who's on loan from the MLS Colorado Rapids, playing there in central defense on the right side, has it at his feet now. Up to Ibrahim Yarrow. To Burt, heavy touch, knocked away by Wharton. And out to touch. 38th minute. Jordan Burt with his 3rd goal of the year as Colorado Springs on top. Williamson slips as he looks to control, falls down again, and Malcolm brings the other direction. Shane Malcolm, now not the sole leader in goals scored for Colorado Springs this year, thanks to that Burt penalty kick. Jome controls back to Rabin.
You mentioned Burt. So far in this game, he's played a pretty important role for the Switchbacks, finding space in front of the T2 back line, sometimes finding space between Wharton and Zambrano, getting on the ball and then playmaking, turning, getting into those seams. And if T2 doesn't pick him up, he's been able to play make.
Here comes Williamson, plays Langsdorf. Great first touch with his left foot to control as he was turning. Now plays to Hurtado, making the through ball run, and Rodriguez quickly off his line to collect.
Started to see as T2's gained momentum through that middle third. Switchbacks aren't able to get to them as easily, and they found those seams. T2 started to create some good chances into the attacking third.
Last week, Laura, we saw Cameron Knowles come out in a lineup we weren't familiar with, a formation we weren't familiar with, at least in this early part of the season, a 4-4-2. And as this first half wore on, you started to see Gio Calixto play underneath Langsdorff a little bit more and bring that extra man into the midfield, and it really made a difference. Is there anything you see in what Portland Timbers 2 have done thus far that they can either adjust or need to continue to do to gain more traction and momentum against this switchback side?
Defensively, the block of four in the back between Jadama, Dizpe, Zambrano, Wharton, they need to be aware of that space, that box between them that's been exploited by Burt in the first half to get him on the ball, turn and go at the backs, or find seams and play make through. On the attacking end for T2, Williamson was so effective on the ball in the last game. I wonder if they'll start to look to find him a little bit more in that middle third and allow him to play make forward. In the last game, too, on the wings, so potent, sending cross after cross after cross from left side from Hurtado. Might look for a few more crossing opportunities as T2 goes into the locker room and into the second half.
Williamson's slipped a few times, hasn't quite found his footing in this game, but in the couple moments where he has, he's been dangerous, setting up his teammates with different opportunities as Jack's header goes out to touch. Inside the final 5 minutes plus stoppage time here at the end of the first half. Shouldn't be too much, as we haven't really had too many stoppages in play. Williamson under pressure by Schweitzer and just sends it to Malcolm. Hurtado quickly back to collect and force the turnover. Little back and forth with Wharton, and Malcolm knocks it out to touch. Sun is completely behind the West Hills now here in Portland. Ojeda, nice first time back to Smith. Smith's cross leaves a lot to be desired. Rodriguez, though, punches with his right hand, and it ends up in a corner kick for T2, their second of the evening.
Interesting decision here from the goalkeeper to come for this. Comes out, he's a little bit obstructed by his teammate, and he gets a hand to it, but also giving up a corner in the last 5 minutes of the first half can be a bit dangerous as well.
Can T2 take advantage of this? Williamson to send it in. Waiting for the whistle from Mike Allerton, and we're ready to go. Crossed in, Dizpe, flicked header, but couldn't keep it down.
Nice little in-swinger here from T2, and Dizpe gets his head to the ball. One of the more sized players on T2, and that's going to be an obvious target. He does a good job to get to it, but can't quite get it on frame.
A 6'4" Havana, Cuba native, Adrian Dizpe. In his second season with T2, came over around this time last year, April, May of last season, and has made his presence felt. Was actually signed on May 11th of 2018. Langsdorff heads on, but no one home. Ojeda quickly chasing down Jack. Forces Jack into a turnover. Zambrano collects 50 yards away from goal. Zambrano out wide Ojeda. Defended by Jome. Ojeda, prep touch, cross in. Flicked header by Williamson, but he can't steer it on frame. That was a dynamite opportunity from Williamson, created by Ojeda.
Well, we mentioned it just a few moments ago, right? Getting the ball wide and looking for some more crossing opportunities for T2 to be successful here, moving into the second half, and here we see it in the first half. Ojeda gets that ball across and just played wide of goal. T2 can find a way to get a few more of these opportunities on frame. This game could be very exciting very quickly.
It's interesting when you watch Colorado Springs play, they basically have 4 guys across the top, kind of overloading that top line just on the opportunity that there's any loose passes, opportunities that can be created. They have men ready to take advantage of those opportunities. Forces T2 to be very clean at the back.
Forces them to be very clean at the back, and it causes a situation where at times it looks 4v4 in between the T2 backline and the Switchbacks front line. Might be part of that dynamic with Burt checking to those balls in between Zambrano and Wharton. As a center back, you're going to hesitate. You're not necessarily going to step out when you're man-to-man on the back line. So again, that'll be interesting to see in the second half what adjustments are made by both teams to either exploit that for the Switchbacks on the attacking end or for T2 to change things defensively to counter it.
And will we see a card for Matt Hundley here? It's the second time that Ojeda's been taken down hard. He went down in the first minute or so and goes down again here, and Allerton will call over Hundley to have a conversation. I think the T2 coaching staff can't believe if he's not going to receive a card here, and he does. So the first caution of the match issued to Matt Hundley as we take another look.
Well, great ball played in here to Ojeda, and he's been playmaking from that right side. He looks to cut back, and that's an obvious foul call. Came in late and high. I don't think he touched the ball.
So the question becomes, is it bad enough to potentially see the back pocket? As Ojeda gets looked at. Take another look at this here in just a moment. Ojeda has arguably been the best attacking player for T2 in the first half, making his first start in a T2 shirt. He's down getting looked at by T2 trainer Greg Wakefield. It certainly was a stiff challenge that came in from Hundley.
Yeah, Ojeda just streaks down the right side of the field again. He cuts it back on his left, takes that touch, and that becomes a judgment call by the official, but that was a pretty hard and late foul.
Swinging through late, Ojeda is up. That's good to see. I guess you could say that's why players wear shin guards, right?
I don't know if a shin guard's gonna do enough in that particular fight. In theory, it's why you wear shin guards, but in that particular instance, you might need a leg guard.
Williamson's restart. Not the greatest ball, doesn't get by the first man. Shot from Smith. Scary for a moment, but ball didn't stay down. Looked like it was knuckling a touch. In the end, just a goal kick. We'll play 2 minutes of stoppage here at the end of the first half.
This ball brought down by Zambrano, and Smith just takes a chance on it. It's actually a great chance. Just can't quite keep it down. And again, get it on frame.
We're going to play 2 minutes. As you see, we're almost through the 2 minutes. So it'll obviously be up to the discretion of Mike Allerton as to how much we will play beyond 47. As that stoppage for Ojeda pretty much came at the end of the 45 minutes and the first little bit of stoppage time. And there's the whistle. So we play exactly 47 minutes. And Colorado Springs will take a lead to the break against Portland Timbers 2, thanks to a penalty kick goal in the 18th minute from Jordan Burt. Switchbacks FC looking for their first win in their last 4 matches. Lead 1-0 here through 45 minutes of action at Merlo Field on the campus of the University of Portland. We'll be back with first half highlights, stats, and more coming up.
To attack, shooting and scoring. Saved by Caldwell.
Collier.
Yes. Collier. Knock back towards Spencer. Brilliant finish.
fun was getting to play with all these fantastic players from like all over the states, and it was just really fun.
Back in Portland, Oregon, halftime at Merlo Field as Colorado Springs Switchbacks on top of Portland Timbers 2, 1-0 through 45 minutes, thanks to a Jordan Burt penalty kick in the 18th minute. And with that, we welcome you into the broadcast booth once again. Alongside Laura Schott, I'm Fletcher Johnson. Laura, 45 minutes, 1-0 in favor of Colorado Springs, but T2 can't feel too bad about how they've played thus far.
No, if you're T2, you're playing pretty well. I mean, you're getting in around the wings. You're creating some great chances. Ojeda's had some great crosses. You've even had some opportunities to finish. It just hasn't hit the back of the net yet, and that's got to be a little bit frustrating, especially for a T2 team that, as we know, when they lead the shot count, they don't necessarily put a lot of those chances away. So in the second half, they're going to be looking to do that.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look back at the first half highlights. We start off in the 8th minute. It was a great opportunity for T2 to open the scoring.
This ball played in by Jadama. It goes wide. Ojeda cuts it back to that left foot, that in-swinger, and Langsdorff gets his left foot to it, but it bounces across the goal. Another look at it. What a great ball in by Ojeda.
A couple minutes later, it was Christian Ojeda with a chance to open the scoring.
Yeah, here we have Smith cutting the ball inside with his right on the cross, and Ojeda, again with that deadly in-swinger, strikes the ball with his left and just wide of the post.
7 minutes later, one that Renzo Zambrano will rue.
Yeah, really in this situation, you don't have to foul here. He gets a little too tight, makes contact with that left foot, and gives up the PK.
Jordan Burt puts it in the back of the net.
Jordan Burt just makes it look simple.
Pretty straightforward there, and then we move to the 29th minute. It was an incredible save from Abraham Rodriguez.
Williamson getting around the corner. He does such a good job under pressure to get around, and what a save by Rodriguez. I mean, to get a hand of that 16-year-old, what a confidence builder.
Yep, USL Save of the Week nominee. Hard to believe it wouldn't be. As we look at the stats, T2 outshooting Colorado Springs 8-7. Pretty even in most of the categories thus far, but Switchbacks with 4 shots on goal to T2's 1.
Yeah, it's another match for T2 where they're ahead in the shot count, but they're not ahead in the score line, and they're going to look to change that here in the second half. You're going to come out, you're at home, you've had a lot of momentum, you've won some games, playing against a Switchback team that's come off of a couple losses, and now you're looking 1-0 down at home. You've got to be finding ways to get forward and take advantage of those crosses that have been so. We've just seen a lot of crosses from T2. They've been great crosses. They sent in from Ojeda on that left foot. Some great plays by Hurtado. In this half, I think really T2's got to look to find Williamson and Langsdorff a little bit more down the middle of the field to then open up those wide channels again. So right now it's gotten a little bit predictable. Switchbacks have done a good job in the middle third to cut that momentum, and T2's got to get it back. All
right, let's go ahead and take a look around the rest of USL. Real Monarchs on top of San Antonio 3-2. Rio Grande Valley up on Las Vegas Lights, and that one finished as well 5-2. Halftime right now in the match we're watching closely, New Mexico United and Reno 1868 1-1 at halftime. Reno had the early lead there, and OKC Energy 1-0 over Orange County. As we're just about set for the second half, and the storylines as we look at a few of them. T2 off to their best start in club history, 4 wins from 6 matches, looking to make it 5 from 7 tonight. And Eric Williamson tied for the lead in USL in assists, Laura, with 5 of them so far this year. And it's something we talked about late in the first half. T2 getting him more involved in the action to create more opportunities and goal-scoring opportunities to level this scoreline in the second half.
We see him being such a playmaker and having those 5 assists early in the season. That's a pretty big number for the number of games played. So to get him back on the ball in the second half, it's got to be a priority for T2.
We are underway in the second half of action. 46th minute now. Fletcher Johnson, Laura Schott here with you. As an early foul on Nathan Smith. Schweitzer goes down, and Smith will quickly go in the book here from Mike Allerton. I believe that was Smith's first foul of the evening. So quick caution from Allerton for Nathan Smith.
Yeah, you wonder this early in the half with Smith comes in here and just gets a piece of his shin. Talk about the importance of shin guards. Again, he comes in a little bit high and draws that yellow card early in the half.
Back underway. T2 would certainly like to get a goal here early in this half so that this doesn't carry too far into the second half. You have to imagine the Colorado Springs would start to pack it in if they have this lead with 10 minutes left. Leaker's clearance goes straight out to touch. Despite the goal scoring struggles for Colorado Springs, it's a team that's won 2 games this year. 3 results in their first 4, but 2 losses in the last 2 as Farfan is fouled by Seth. Have seen a substitute come in at the half for Colorado Springs. Matt Hunley, who picked up the yellow card with the rough challenge on Christian Ojeda, came off in favor of Cesar Romero. So Romero on, Hunley off. Romero's on loan from Motagua FC in Honduras's top division. Honduran U20, and someone that this Colorado Springs Switchback side thinks very highly of. Scored his first goal with the club back on March 23rd against San Antonio in a 1-0 win. Zambrano in for Wharton. Wharton plays out to Hurtado. Hurtado defended by Yarrow. Hurtado's cross goes back post, finds Langsdorf, headed off the line, but then off the post. It was Williamson who went off the post on the rebound, and now a counterattack potential for Argueta and Colorado Springs. No numbers as T2 have 5 men back. But a flurry of action in front of the net for T2. And somehow this scoreline remains 1-0 in favor of the Switchbacks. Wow, T2 nearly able to get a goal there as Dizpay is fouled by Schweitzer. And T2 feeling the momentum shifting in their favor, wanting to get the ball forward quickly. Farfan's pass towards Williamson too late, but Williamson wins it away from Malcolm. Williamson plays it behind Langsdorf. Just seem a touch off here tonight. Due to the attacking players.
Even see early in the second half, we've seen Williamson and Langsdorf on the ball a few times already, and it's going to be important, especially for a T2 who likes to play in those wide channels, to then play penetrating balls central, bring the Switchbacks in, collapse the defense, and then open up those channels again for those wide players. Saw it was effective there with those few shots there with T2. It's almost surprising they didn't capitalize.
Let's put together a missed chances package. Colorado Springs shot from outside the box. Leaker dove to his right, knew he had that post covered though, and let it roll out across the end line. Let's take a look at what happened just a couple moments ago, Laura.
Hurtado plays this ball in with his left, an out swinging cross, and Langsdorf gets to it. Defender does a good job to save it off the line, and then Williams comes in with that great shot that bangs off the post. T2's created some really good opportunities in this game. As of yet, unable to capitalize.
Great defensive work by Zambrano to win that one back, and into space for Ojeda. Ojeda has yardage in front of him, decides to play Langsdorf. Langsdorf wasn't making the run though, and cut away by Jack, the man who cleared it off the line for Colorado Springs on the Langsdorf header. Now here's Romero. Romero dribbling central, working his way around Dizpay, has Malcolm to the outside, goes down, and then a late foul is called by Mike Allerton. It looked like he was not going to blow the whistle there, and then decided at the last second, even after Zambrano was carrying the ball the other direction, to blow the whistle. So a dangerous restart opportunity here for Switchbacks.
You wonder sometimes in these situations when the official hesitates. Here Dizpay goes into the tackle, obviously gets the ball, start the counter. Zambrano's on the ball, and official decides to blow the foul.
So Romero coming in and providing a little bit of an impact for the visitors. As mentioned, Honduran U20 national team player, expected to be on the U20 World Cup team for Honduras next or this coming May in Poland. It will be Malcolm who stands over the top of this one. Jome and Jack also close by as well. Four-man wall for T2. Make it 5. As Jome to strike, and never really worrying Jake Leaker as he wasn't going to be able to get it up and back down over that T2 wall.
Jome stepping up and decided he's going to take that shot and didn't put a lot of pace on it. Looked like he was even maybe trying to place it, but at least 6 yards wide of goal there. Easy for Leaker to see that out.
Langsdorff wins the header against Malcolm, but it goes straight out to touch. T2's been able to, in matches where maybe he didn't have the breaks or didn't get a lucky bounce here or there, have found ways to win. And that theory will be tested again here against Colorado Springs. Mike Gallatin has a talk with Mike Seth. This ball into Schweitzer, and he is called for a foul. 7 minutes into the second half, T2 with the clear best opportunity so far in the 47th minute, with the Langsdorff header off the Hurtado cross that was cleared off the line by Jack, and then Williamson put the rebound off the post. Hurtado will get to this ball in front of Yarrow. First touch with the left foot goes off of Yarrow and out for a corner kick, the third of the evening for T2. Caught Yarrow flat-footed on that back line, did Hurtado, ran around him. He didn't know if he wanted to dribble towards goal or play a touch down the line to send a cross in, went with the latter, and Yarrow was able to recover. Williamson, the leader in assist in USL, to send this one in. He'll go towards the back post. Langsdorff was unmarked there, but header was won by Colorado Springs. Rabin was the man who got on it, and it was an important touch in front of Langsdorff. Now Smith.
Really in a situation there where he had to clear that. Langsdorff was free on the back post. If that had gone through, Langsdorff could have had an easy finish.
Smith taken down. Foul called. And now we're going to take a look at Sam Rabin, it looks like, who's down in the box. Rose to win that header. And not quite sure what happened. But it looks like he will be okay to continue. And Colorado Springs happy to slow things down a little bit, as T2 has been the dominant side here through nearly 10 minutes of the second half. Whistle blows, and Zambrano to send in. He'll go towards Rodriguez, who punched it straight up in the air and was able to stand underneath it and collect it before a T2 player was there. Rodriguez, not the tallest of players, but was able to punch it up in the air and then collect.
Zambrano with a nice ball in there. Rodriguez gets his hand to it, and perhaps even a little bit lucky to have punched that directly straight up into the air so he could collect the second ball.
I lose my head.
Yeah, you get the sense that the more balls that T2 put in front of the Colorado Springs net, the better opportunity they're going to have to put one on the scoreboard, because Rodriguez has not had the best of moments. This ball over the top for Langsdorff. Langsdorff will get there in front of Rabin. Controls, lays off for Hurtado, heavy first touch. Now falls back out to Langsdorff. Had Hurtado been able to control that, he had Williamson making an overlapping run on the far side. Would have been one-on-one versus the keeper. Now Farfan, cross in towards Zambrano. Let it roll by, shoots. And easy stuff for Rodriguez. Almost wish Hurtado would have sprinted towards that ball as Rodriguez spilled it a little bit.
Oh, we have a flurry of passes here. Farfan on the ball, taking the ball to his left, and it deflects back to Zambrano, gets that shot off.
Rodriguez has looked scary in moments here in the second half. Not the most confident. I guess maybe the better term would be shaky here in the second half, as Williamson sends the early cross in, headed away by Rabin and cleared away. Malcolm taken down just inside the Timbers 2 attack or defensive half. It'll be a restart for Colorado Springs. They've already taken it. Out wide to Romero, who can't control out to touch. Get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Portland Timbers 2 and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on Portland Timbers 2's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Colorado Springs quickly back in possession. But T2 win it away. Wharton out into space for Hurtado. Hurtado touches, can't control in front of Yarrow. Out to touch.
There you see, as we talked about there at halftime, Wharton and Zambrano collapsed that space in the middle of the field. Wharton able to win that ball. T2 not allowing that penetrating central ball and then starting the counter. Maybe an effective way to generate more attack for T2 this half.
As Colorado Springs looks to be a little out of rhythm now here, nearly 15 minutes into the second half. Loose passes, not completing things, though. Zambrano falls down there, loses out to Seth. Now to Malcolm. Malcolm 1v1 versus Jadama. Trying to work his way around Jadama. Important touch by Mo Jadama. And then shoulder-to-shoulder challenge by Farfan. Tries to knock it out off Malcolm, but it is a Colorado Springs throw.
An important play here by Jadama. Gets the attacker to go to his right, gets a piece of the ball, clears it out of danger. Farfan does a good job to follow and continue defending in that moment.
Seth can't control, just inside the 18-yard box, and it's a goal kick for T2. Quickly taken by Leaker. Langsdorff always so tricky in the way that he works around defenders to win those headers on long balls forward. Now Jome in a foot race with Ojeda. He'll beat him out. Plays back to Rodriguez. 3 T2 attackers going towards Rodriguez, but he's able to clear it away from danger and Switchbacks in possession. T2 bright here in the second half and get it back once again. Zambrano. Still with it, Zambrano. Through ball for Langsdorff. Rodriguez gets a touch to it. Burt wins the header. Jadama, though, smartly keeps it away from Seth. For Zambrano out wide to Farfan. First touch with his right foot, dribbles forward as the overlapping run from Hurtado. Doesn't really know what he wants to do, lays it off for Hurtado. Hurtado will try to cross it in. It's blocked by Yarrow out to touch. T2 very bright in this second half. Dizpay switches point of attack over to Nathan Smith. We get a moment to breathe. 1 hour in here at Merlo Field. T2 have been the better team in the second half. And Jadama will receive a card here, taking down Malcolm. Malcolm had the legs fully open running forward there, and Jadama just cleared him out. Could have been a dangerous moment had a couple other T2 defenders not been tracking back.
Well, Jadama there tracking back. He's aware of the situation he's in. Malcolm on the ball. Goal scorer, he comes across and tries to play the ball, but a little bit late. Malcolm takes that touch forward and draws the yellow card.
So Jadama, the second T2 player to be cautioned, joining Nathan Smith. Jome will take his time with a restart. Doesn't get it by Ojeda.
Switchbacks there. You see multiple switchbacks appealing for encroachment there on the free kick. Ojeda comes forward. He's trying to get a piece of that ball, not allow the cross in, and he may have come a little too close too soon.
In the end, though, smart play. Doesn't get called for it.
Well, you're always going to look for those great parts of the game to gain an advantage if you can take a step or two closer to the ball and get a piece of it and not allow a cross. Any strong player is going to look for those moments where they can make plays to change the flow of the game.
Substitutes available for Cameron Knowles tonight. As academy player Nicholas Scardina, academy goalkeeper Charlie Lyon, Ryan Sierakowski, who has a goal this year in 5 appearances, Harold Hansen, Max Ornstill. As Smith is forward, sends it central for Langsdorff, who has leveled the tally in the 63rd minute. Langsdorff not going to miss this time, picks up his second goal of the season.
And Langsdorff there on his second goal of the season. He is a fantastic finisher. He was last year for T2, and he's doing a great job again this year. Dispay on the ball, plays the ball in, great weighted pass. Cross in from Smith, and Langsdorff there just to put it away. See this great little flighted ball in from Dispay out to the wing. T2 been looking for those opportunities down the wings, crosses. They finally get on the scoreboard.
A deserved goal for T2 with the way they started the second half. And we've got a new match, 1-1. And T2 have been the better team and earned the throw here.
Well, that's got to feel good for T2, and it's got to be a little bit of a relief after generating so many great chances and not getting a goal yet. Just to put one away, it eases the nerves a little bit.
It's the 3rd time they've come back from a goal deficit this season. They've won 1 and drawn 1 in those 2 matches. As Mike Allerton calls a foul on Langsdorff, incensed, thought he got the ball.
Langsdorff appealing there in the moment that he did get the ball, and you saw the ball move, but official makes the call. Maybe he got part of the player of 2.
So now how does Colorado Springs respond? T2 with all the momentum. Very odd that Colorado Springs gets a throw in here. Seth clearly touched the ball before it went out across the end line. Not sure what Mike Allerton was saying as he was pointing to his head. Jadama, man, Williamson fouled. Yeah, and rightly so. Call was late. Jack just ran through the back of Williamson. And Mike Allerton's got to be careful here. Losing a little bit of control of this one.
Saw early in this half, in the first minute, I believe, he gave a yellow. He's been calling fouls, and sometimes when flow of play gets a little bit testy like this, players start to get a little chippy. It's a very competitive game. Officials will keep it tight and make calls to try and keep the game under control, and at times that can have the opposite effect as players get frustrated because things are being called that they're not quite positive should be called, or they're appealing just because it's a tight game and it's competitive. It'll be important for the official as the flow of play continues to be consistent in play calling, so both teams feel confident and comfortable in the game.
Burt down with it towards the end line. Jadama plays it out to touch for a throw. Burt's been much quieter so far here in the second half than he was in the first. He was a lightning rod for Colorado Springs in that first half, causing all sorts of problems for T2. Yarrow to take the throw. The Ghanaian in and gets it back to Burt. Argueta, his cross blocked by Williamson. Be sure to tune in on Wednesday, April 30th at 4 p.m. for the ESPN USL Championship Game of the Week on ESPN3, featuring new expansion side Memphis 901 FC visiting the 2-time defending USL Cup champions Louisville City FC. It's the week's best match on the Game of the Week, April 30th at 4 p.m. on ESPN3. Farfan cuts out the pass. Into space for Smith. Two players down that right-hand side of the formation for T2 have certainly had an impact in this one. Hurtado, flag stays down. If he can chase this down before it goes across the end line, he does. He'll take a prep touch, send it in. Header deflected. Kind of a flashing header by Marco Farfan, was it? And it ends up all the way across the touchline on the far side for a Colorado Springs throw. Farfan just couldn't quite steer it enough on frame.
Yes, it's great. Cross here by Hurtado. He takes a pause, waits for the run, and Farfan gets ahead to it, but he doesn't quite get enough on it to redirect it on frame.
There have been no shortage of opportunities for T2. Meanwhile, despite the shots on goal for Colorado Springs, they really have not done that much tonight. They do have 9 shots in total, do Colorado Springs, but Jake Leaker has really not been forced into too much. And the goal, of course, not coming from the run of play as Zambrano nutmegs Seth. Don't know how much he knew about it, but it helps T2 keep possession. Been impressive, Laura, to watch T2 grow into this match more and more and really be the dominant team here in the second half.
They came into halftime really putting pressure on Switchbacks, and even you saw that moment early on in the half where T2 sent 3 attackers to put pressure on Rodriguez when he was in possession. So you can see that they're looking to press early in this second half and through this second half to generate opportunities.
Here comes Langsdorff into the box. Cross all the way towards Farfan, who picks it up at the penalty spot. Tries to hit it with his right foot, and Jack quickly out to clear it away, and they say it went off Farfan last for Colorado Springs throw. Farfan is down behind the play still. He sold out to try and hit that with his right foot. And he's now up and hobbling back towards his left back spot.
When you're on top of the box, there's a slight opening there off his second touch where he perhaps could have got a shot off, and takes the third, takes another touch, takes a negative touch, and those defenders close quickly at this level. Becomes more and more difficult to see to get that shot off.
Hurtado guesses wrong, comes forward, and instead the ball's played behind him to Yarrow. Into space for Burt. Burt has time. Langsdorff tracking back to get a touch on the ball, but it goes further outside to Romero. Run forward by Schweitzer, shoulder to shoulder with Zambrano, and Zambrano wins that one. So good at that is Renzo Zambrano, and then he's fouled by Schweitzer. The defensive work rate from Renzo Zambrano was impressive these last couple seasons. It helped earn him an MLS Timbers contract in the offseason.
You talked about the importance of Zambrano, and he comes back there, wins that ball with the outside of his right foot, looks to start the attack. Switchbacks just can't get in front of him. And
Langsdorff earns the throw. "20 minutes plus stoppage time left here at Merlot Field." Fletcher Johnson and Laura Schott here with you. Colorado Springs held the 1-0 lead at halftime. T2 scored in the 63rd minute to even the score, and are prodding for a second. Hurtado's cross, not much, and Wharton taken down by Jack, and a penalty kick awarded. Wharton still down, holding that right leg, but Jack came through him, and T2 will have a chance to take the lead.
Hurtado lines up his left foot again here. It's isolated on the outside, sends this ball across, and it's a slow rolling ball, but Wharton continues to pursue it, and in his pursuit, he's fouled. Doing a great job to earn that penalty kick for T2.
And T2, 2 for 5 from the penalty spot this season. Mo Jadama scored last match against Sacramento, and it will be Jadama again to try and go 2 for 2 in 2 matches and improve T2's penalty percentage in the process. Jadama will strike it with his right foot. Whistle blows, steps, strikes, and saved by Rodriguez. He's come up huge twice tonight, has Rodriguez, and keeps that one out, and the score level. He guessed right, diving to his left. Jadama went to his left. Rodriguez celebrating. He better get his head back in the game because T2 have a corner here.
Everybody at this level has skill, and when you get into a penalty kick situation, it's so mental, and you see Rodriguez there playing the mental game, pointing to Jadama to where he's going to go, and then comes back and makes a save.
Rodriguez showing his confidence there, coming quickly out off his line. Flag stays down. Here's Williamson again. Flashes this one in, goes all the way through. I don't think Langsdorff believed it got to him at the back post, and in the end rolls out for a throw.
I see Rodriguez here pointing to his right, saying, you're going to go there. Gets set. Comes back to his left. Gets that left hand to the ball. It even maybe deflected off the post there, yeah?
Yeah, I think it did. And got his left hand on it, hit it pretty strong, but then went off the post and out for the corner kick. So T2 struggles from the PK spot continue. Just 2 for 6 on the year now. So T2 had a chance to take the lead. How do they respond now? Into space for Williamson. Williamson tries to hit Langsdorff on the overlapping run. Miss-hit clearance by Jack. Langsdorff decides to strike it first time. Puts it high over the bar.
Williamson there, he ends up in a situation that he does so well, and he's in the space there in front of the back line. Squeaks this ball through to Langsdorff, but he just... Another missed opportunity for T2, just hitting the ball a bit high, a little bit off balance. In those situations as an attacker, you got to get your balance. You got to get your body over the ball. Otherwise, the likelihood of it going high is much greater.
Zambrano comes in from behind on Argueta. It's called for the foul by Mike Allerton. And you know that Colorado Springs is probably going to take more and more time with these restarts as they get them, given that T2 has been so dominant here in the second half with their play. Romero's ball looking for Burt goes behind him. And Colorado Springs are all out of sorts. Hurtado in for Williamson. Ball popped up, but did well to control it. As we move into the 76th minute. Foul called on Jadama as he takes down Mike Seth. And Jadama remains down. Who's up? Who's down? Where does your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL Championship Power Rankings, only on USLChampionship.com. Well, it's the second time that T2 have been tied after 75 minutes. They've lost the only other match in which they were tied after 75 minutes this season. That was against Los Dos back on March 30th. Late goal from Los Dos. The start of second half stoppage time was the difference in that one. Wharton's taken down by Malcolm, no foul called. And Colorado Springs back in possession, though. Farfan quickly down to the ground to cut out that pass, and T2 back with it. All played from Hurtado to Farfan behind him. Looks like T2 readying a substitution here. Ryan Sierakowski appears to be the man getting instructions from Aiden Brown. So Sierakowski indeed will be the man coming in, likely at the next dead ball. Be the first substitution for Cameron Knowles. Joan pressured by Ojeda. And Malcolm offside. And indeed, we'll see the substitution for T2. It will be Ryan Sierakowski coming on in favor of Christian Ojeda. So let's go ahead and look back at some of the moments from the first start for Christian Ojeda here, Laura.
Ojeda was great playmaker here in the first half. You saw him on the crosser, you see him on the shot with the ball just going wide of the post. Sends in another in-swinger there.
And then, of course, the goal came from Smith on that far side. But the two players substituted in for this match, changes from last match. Smith and Ojeda have had a big part in the success down that right side for T2 tonight. So Sierakowski in, making his 7th appearance of the season. Scored a goal, the game-winning goal against Oklahoma City a couple weeks ago. Great touch there by Langsdorff to get it out to Hurtado. Hurtado defended by Yarrow. Hurtado stands over it. We'll play it back to Farfan. Farfan has time. We'll play it central for Zambrano. Zambrano 30 yards away, takes the shot, deflected, and out for a corner kick, the 5th of the night for T2, who are now out shooting Colorado Springs 15-9.
A little different look here for T2. Hurtado takes the ball down the left, and Farfan goes to join, play the ball back across. Rather than sending that early cross in, Hurtado pulls the ball back, and Zambrano gets the shot off on top of the box.
Here comes Williamson's cross, floated towards the back post. Jack wins the header. Hurtado hits it first time. Now back into the box. Sierakowski nearly with a chance, and then it falls to Hurtado, who puts it over the top of the bar. There's a wide open net for Hurtado. It was tough falling to him on the volley. But there was a chance there for T2 to take the lead again.
Williamson sends in that cross, and Hurtado on that effort to get the ball back in on net. Great touch there by Sierakowski, and
it looks like it was another great save by Rodriguez to get something on that ball forward from Sierakowski. Boy, the youngster, the 16-year-old, having himself a night here tonight. If indeed he did get a hand of that, that's 3 humongous saves from point-blank distance. Well, 2 from point-blank distance and 1 on a penalty kick that has kept his Colorado Springs team in a position to earn a result here tonight. And going for more. Big push forward here from Colorado. And goes down, falls to Jome, who is offside. Final 10 minutes plus stoppage time. Fletcher Johnson and Laura Schott here with you.
You mentioned Sierakowski coming in on that sub. He's started a number of games, and he's been a very effective player for T2. Coming in fresh and late in this second half. We'll see if T2 strategically, tactically starts playing the ball down the right side a bit more, try to take advantage of those fresh legs.
T2 seem very much in control of this match at this point. Just a matter if they'll find a moment that gets themselves 3 points here at home. Scoreline also the same between Reno and New Mexico. Of course, New Mexico United, the other team, on 13 points. 1-1 between those two, also in about the 80th minute. Off of Yarrow's head out to touchdown near the corner flag.
As the second half wears on, T2 starting to send more of these longer switched balls, 40, 50-yard balls across the field, even longer. looking for Hurtado, looking for Sirkowski, trying to challenge that back line of the switchbacks. See if they can create an opportunity off of the diagonal.
And a foul called. It pulled it back for a foul. I believe it was on Farfan. And once again, Colorado Springs happy to take a moment, settle things down a bit. As they look over the top for Seth. It's really been what Colorado Springs has tried to do in the second half, is just send it over the top to the tall man, Mike Seth, up top, see if they can find him and create anything out of it. Jordan Burt tracks back to take it away from Williamson. T2 have responded well here, though, tonight after giving up the penalty kick goal in the 18th minute. Can look back at 6 or 7 different moments since giving up that goal in which T2 were dangerous in front of the net. If T2 walk away with a result in this match, it'll be the 3rd time in 4 matches this year that they've trailed at half and gotten a result from the game. They've won once, they've drawn once, they've lost once.
For T2 earning those results early in the season, you've got to have the confidence that you can do it in really any game.
And here comes Romero. Romero's been quiet since coming on as a substitute at halftime. He shot blocked, chases it down in front of Sierkowski. Now into space for Schweitzer. Schweitzer will shoot and has a stinger into the back of the net from 30 yards. And Colorado Springs is back out in front. Probably your goal of the week.
Goal for the Switchbacks is completely against momentum. Momentum for T2 has been huge in these last 10 minutes. Just lines it up and drives it near post. Leaker a bit unsuspecting. Little off his near post and taken advantage of by the Switchbacks.
So now T2 will be forced to respond once again. Certainly, you'd have to imagine will be up amongst the best goals ever in Jordan Schweitzer's career. And a birthday present also. Celebrated his 25th birthday yesterday and gets the goal as the cherry on top. He's hoping it'll be the game-winning goal for his Switchback side. And Foster Langsdorff, no, make that Todd Wharton, comes off in favor of Gio Calixtro. So second substitute in, and that is not a like-for-like substitution for Cameron Knowles. Gio Calixtro, a straight out-and-out forward. Todd Wharton, the defensive midfielder, comes off. So T2 putting another attacking player on in favor of Todd Wharton. And you have to imagine that Mojadama feeling it even a little more after having his penalty kick saved in the 73rd minute.
We've seen T2 even before the Switchbacks got that second goal, moving to really what looks like a 4-5.
Langsdorff, header, and we're even once again in the 86th minute. Foster Langsdorff has a brace here tonight, and just 2 minutes after Colorado Springs took the lead, Foster Langsdorff said, "Not so fast."
We mentioned T2 having the confidence to come back, and this cross comes in. Recessed cross from really almost the middle third, and Langsdorff gets ahead to it. Bounces off that post. Langsdorff does what a finisher does.
Foster Langsdorff scored 14 goals last year. He's got 3 goals now this season. And what a performance here in the second half from T2. Yes, they gave up the goal a moment ago, but they have played very well here in the second half. Should be noted as well, Foster Langsdorff is the only player in T2 and MLS Timbers history to have a hat trick. And boy, would he like to add another one there. Schweitzer throws the ball at Williamson. Surprised that Mike Gallatin let that go. Quickly back to action though, 87th minute. Malcolm and Langsdorff go shoulder to shoulder. Cross comes in, headed away by Dispay. And then a foul called on Schweitzer, who's not happy. Brought the boot in high against Williamson. And now this game is ripe for the picking once again.
See, the official stands a little longer at the ball there, trying to diffuse the tension. T2 now playing in what sometimes looks like a 4 front and sometimes looks like a 5 front. Pressing those numbers high, looking to get the go-ahead goal.
Ball over the top. Tries to find Sierakowski's got to get there in front of Jome, and I believe it was Jack just decided to put it up over the top of his own net and give up a corner kick. 5th of the night coming for T2 in the 88th minute.
In these situations, T2, you line up a corner here. You know it takes just one moment, and there's not a lot of time left. It takes just one moment to get the go-ahead goal, so you want to line it up and make sure that you have your run sorted out in your play.
Williamson finds the head of Dispay, but once again, just can't quite keep it down. He's fallen backwards as he gets his head to it.
Dispay in a couple corners has done a good job to fight through contact, but he's been unable to get enough on the ball.
Will we see a winning goal from either side? Colorado Springs thought they had it in the 84th minute on a screamer from Jordan Schweitzer. But Foster Langsdorff answered back just a couple minutes later. Into space for Farfan. Couple big touches from Farfan, still with it. Great touch to get it around one man out to Hurtado in space. First time cross. Important touch by Jack, who was there to get it to Burt. But then Malcolm falls down and Williamson has it. Zambrano out wide to Langsdorff. Langsdorff to Sierakowski. Back to Smith. Into the 90th minute. We're hearing from downstairs there will be 3 minutes of stoppage time once we played the 90. Farfan nearly finds the head of Calixtro. Langsdorff there in front of Jome to track it down. Langsdorff taken down. Now Smith, his cross deflected out to touch by Romero. We have seen a substitute a few minutes ago, just cleaning up or taking care of some housekeeping. Kwasi Dansu came on for Colorado Springs as Smith is down outside the touchline on the far side. So we'll play 3 minutes of stoppage time, and we're into those 3 minutes now. Smith is still down, so T2 are a man down at the moment. Cameron Knowles signaling to Aiden Brown to hurry up the substitution as Williamson's cross comes in, headed away by Rabin. We'll also see the third and final substitution for Colorado Springs as well. Harold Hansen will come on at the next dead ball for Nathan Smith. And the next dead ball is here. We will also see Alex Milano come on for Colorado Springs for Shane Malcolm. Harold Hansen ready to go as well. So Hansen on for Nathan Smith. So Smith off, Hansen on, and Smith jogging gingerly over to the near side. We're through 1 minute of the added 3. We'll see how much, if any, time gets added here for the substitution stoppages.
Yeah, if you're T2, first minutes of the game, middle of the game, you may wait to see if Smith's feeling okay, but here you make the sub for Hansen to go in. Make sure you have a healthy player on the field. Make your last push to get another goal.
Jadama plays it outside, looking for Hansen. Romero wins the header. Sierakowski lets it roll out to touch. A minute and 15 seconds left of the added 3 at the discretion of Mike Allerton. Do either team have a winner in them? Great touch there as Harold Hansen able to get on the end of it. His cross doesn't have too much on it. Langsdorff and Hurtado were both in the box, but it was easy stuff for the Colorado Springs defense. Now Hansen back with it, out to Williamson. Williamson, the leader in USL in assists, left-footed in. Hurtado gets ahead to it, and in the end it's out for a goal kick. Hurtado rose over Yarrow, but couldn't steer it on frame. And you better believe Colorado Springs will eat as much time off the clock here as they can. They are just trying to get away with a point in this one. Jadama called for the foul at the center stripe. And this will likely take us to the 3 minutes. How much extra might we potentially play for the 2 substitutions that came in? Argueta floats a ball in towards the box, headed away by T2, and there's the final whistle. We play exactly 3 minutes. And T2 walk away with a point. Colorado Springs gets a point as well. Mo Jadama slams the turf, knowing that had he put his penalty kick in the back of the net, T2 likely would have picked up their 5th win in 7 tries. But nonetheless, 2-2. The T2 earn a point, move to 4-1-2 on the season on 14 points. Laura, your thoughts on what we saw over 90 minutes? It was Colorado Springs who had the lead at the break, but then an impressive performance from T2 in the second half.
If you're T2, you're pleased with how you played. You generated a lot of chances, but you're disappointed in that you didn't put those away to get the win at home. Missing a PK, those situations, you're never quite settled or satisfied when that's a situation you go away from home with a tie. Switchbacks, we saw some amazing saves by Rodriguez, some tense moments where they made some professional fouls, made some good plays. They did a really good job on the road, especially coming off a game where the conditions were completely different, and they turn around and get a tie on the road, so they're probably pleased with that.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look back at the highlights from this one. We'll start things off with the penalty kick goal from Jordan Burt.
Well, Burt just lines it up and he strikes the ball right of the goalkeeper. Leaker diving to the left, doesn't make the right guess, and Dispay here plays the ball in behind. Cross comes in. Langsdorff on a beautiful little finish.
Langsdorff does well there to not think too much about it or hit it too hard. He just basically rolls it into the back of the net with that right foot. And not even the tally in the 63rd minute. We move to the Mo Jadama penalty kick chance, and what a save from Rodriguez.
There we see Rodriguez, a 16-year-old with a big save, coming up with that left hand.
And how about Schweitzer in the 84th?
Schweitzer lines us up on his right, keeps it low and hard to the near post, and Leaker, don't even think he'd expected to see that shot come off, but my goodness, what a great shot.
And 2 minutes later, Foster Langsdorff said, not so fast.
Foster Langsdorff here, again, brilliant finisher, puts this ball away, ties it back up late in the game for T2.
Great placement of the header just a couple minutes after, and he picks up a brace on the night. His second and third goals of the season for Foster Langsdorff. Should note as well, New Mexico United trailing Reno 1868 in stoppage time 2-1. So it looks like T2 may be in sole possession of first place at the end of the night in the Western Conference, despite only picking up a point at home. Well, that'll do it for us here from Merlo Field. For our entire broadcast team, our producer Jose Navarez, and my broadcast partner Laura Schott, I'm Fletcher Johnson. Thanks for joining us. Foster Langsdorff with the brace, and it finishes 2-2 tonight between Portland Timbers 2 and Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.